I want to bring in now live the governor of Kentucky, Democrat Andy Beshear. Governor Beshear, thank you very much for making the time with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
So the job of the system is to present evidence. Basically, citizens choose whether to return an indictment. Is that what happened here? Did the system work?
Well, all of us, as we sit here today, know what we've been told, but we haven't been able to see the information ourselves. I trust the people of Kentucky and the people of America with the truth. And I think now, especially since the Attorney General has determined not to pursue certain charges, it's time to post all the information, all the facts, all the interviews, all the evidence, all the ballistics, to truly let people look at the information. And one of the problems we've had over the last 6 months is a total lack of explanation and information. And the vacuum that's created there, our emotions, our frustrations, can truly fill that. It's time for people to be able to see the basic information, facts and evidence, and to be able to come to their own conclusions about justice. I trust the people of Kentucky and America with the truth that lets them come to that conclusion.
Governor, it seems at this point, at least, unlikely that any kind of revelation of those grand jury materials is going to happen because the AG's office has said that would, quote, compromise the federal investigation and violate a prosecutor's ethical duties. So let me ask you about the federal investigation. What are you hoping that leads to, and what conversations have you had with the FBI or the DOJ about a civil rights case here?
Well, I don't think that posting the information that was gathered for a potential criminal case can harm a civil rights case, which is on the civil side. I do not believe that there are any issues, ethical issues for prosecutors. I am the former AG. Now that that potential case and direction is over, we have seen in other cases, even later in Ferguson, information being posted and significant evidence being posted. So I think it's time. The people deserve it. Put it out there and let them read and let them process. Again, trust our people and trust America with the truth and the facts.
You used to be the Attorney General there. What is your confidence currently in the current Attorney General, Daniel Cameron, right now?
Well, the Attorney General and I have had some disagreements. He's currently suing me in court to overturn every COVID restriction, including our mask mandate. But on this, what I want to see is the evidence. I don't want to argue with a prosecutor's or a grand jury's conclusion without actually knowing the facts myself. And I think that's what everybody wants. It creates a level of transparency that I think people don't just crave, they deserve. And again, when you don't have all those facts, for instance, the Attorney General described, and I did appreciate him describing 2 ballistics reports in detail. Well, since they've been described, let people see them and let people read them. And I know I've said it multiple times since we started talking, but just trust them with the truth.
A few more questions for you. I know, Governor, for my day job for NBC News, I cover the White House and President Trump. I know that you've been in contact with the president this morning. I'm not sure if you heard, but he was out in an interview and called you a good guy. I'm wondering about your conversations with him. I'm curious if he has spoken Breonna Taylor's name to you.
Well, we had a brief call last night where he wanted to call and check in. He said it looked like we had the right pieces in place in Louisville to ensure that people could express their First Amendment rights, but to do it safely. That was the primary extent of our conversation. Listen, anytime the president calls to check in, you do appreciate that call.
Can you give us an update on the status of the police officers that were shot in Louisville? Have you been in touch with them? Do you have any more information on the suspect who is now in custody in that?
So I don't have any information on the suspect, but I did talk to a major, one of the law enforcement officers shot last night personally. Actually, he was doing really well, amazingly well, surrounded by his family and friends, and he thought he was going to get to go home last night. We even talked about our kids. We both have kids that we didn't separate enough, just about a year apart apiece. And just listening to his optimism and his condition, certainly warmed my heart. The other officer, I talked to his mother. He was going back in surgery. I've called again this morning. It appears that he is stable and is ultimately going to be okay. But let me just say that it shows you that one individual trying to do the wrong thing can mar a lot of people out there trying to do the right thing. And so I hope people will understand from a governor that is trying to listen, wants to hear, acknowledges systematic racism exists, wants to build a better world for my own kids and everybody else, that we still need law enforcement in place, in a place like Louisville to protect everyone. Because when I have militias and white supremacy groups coming into town at the same time, where any individual could want to cause harm to everybody out there, we've just got to make sure that people can give voice to their frustration while doing so safely. And so, it was a long night in Louisville last night.
Yeah.
We are rooting for a recovery for these two officers. And as we move forward, I just ask everybody, stay safe. Let's do this in a safe way. The whole world is listening right now.
Yeah.
So let's make sure that we're protecting one another.
Governor, very quickly before I let you go, you mentioned the acknowledgement of systemic racism. Is it your view, do you believe that this indictment proves that systemic racism exists in Kentucky?
Well, again, we haven't seen the information presented to any of these grand jurors, but systematic racism exists all across America, and we've got to acknowledge that. It exists in areas like healthcare, where in Kentucky, our Black and African-American Kentuckians are dying at twice the rate that they make up of the population. And that's because of one reason, unequal access to health care that Dr. King talked about decades ago, and we didn't solve, and look at where we are right now. So we can all agree that we've got to build a better world moving forward that should work for everybody. We all count.
Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Why don't you subscribe? It's really easy. Just click on that button down there. And for more news from MSNBC, click on any of these videos here for the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more videos from MSNBC with our newsletters. Head over to msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up.